Don't lie to me. Ryan Akers Show, Ryan Akers Show. Ain't giving a part of day. Ryan Akers Show, Ryan Akers Show. We just go cut it like that. All right, Ryan Akers Show.
This is good. This is good because I like the energy of this. So yeah. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your host with the most. It's Ryan with the Morals Podcast, and we're back once again to delight your eardrums. And for those that's tuning in, so you can see my beautiful face. Nah, I'm just playing. But listen, man, today I have another guest. Always have dope guests, but this one, well, I know all of them. Hell, but this brother is actually very special. He's bailed me out a couple times in the clutch with some catering, dope catering, bomb New Orleans cuisine. We call it Cajun out here in Houston. But he's also multifaceted. I bring a lot of multifaceted individuals here. He's not just a, suits and boots. You know what I mean? I've seen this man front line and center in the classroom, right? And I seen him also in the streets mentoring young males, right? And then there's also a very dope and good family man and a father. And you know what I mean? And we're just having a conversation off this and a son and you know what I mean? I think it's very important for us as black men to look at ourselves and champion ourselves in this particular season. So without further ado, the author also, Mr. Ron Angeletti. How you doing, my man?
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of good
Did I do you right?
I definitely appreciate it, and obviously I'm here as the guest. But I mean, I definitely want to take this time to let you know I'm really proud of you. Everything you got a whole lot going on. Always been in the mix doing everything. But I mean, very very proud of the way you're using your platform right now to not only grow yourself but uplift others as well.
I appreciate that, brother.
That means a whole lot, man. Really.
Hey, man. Thank you for that, man. Cause,
absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if we get that either. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that. Hold on. Yeah, man. I'm doing something good, man, and it feels good sometimes just to get appreciated. But, this show ain't about me today. You know what I'm saying? Right. Today it's about you, man, and some of the wonderful things that I know that you have done and are doing currently, right? And maybe we even dive in a little bit to spotlight some of the things that your family is doing, man, because you have dope wife, you got dope children, and that's a testament to who you are as a father. So. But let the people know who you are a little bit, man, and where you come from.
Yep. I mean, start with the name.
Yeah.
Ryan Angeletti. I'm my most proud title is father. Father at this point, grandfather of 6, husband, educator, a consultant, mentor, entrepreneur. God has blessed me with some very
chef. We're not gonna let you leave that out, bro.
Yeah.
My man is a chef, yeah.
well, self-proclaimed, But very very blessed to to just humble beginnings, man. I come from just not even to make it like it was so horrible, but I mean just really being able to look back and see where God brought me from, So that's so everything I do is definitely with that in the forefront of my mind, knowing for sure that I'm blessed to be here. I don't take it for granted one day. So as a father, definitely even my kids are. How about I say my kids are grown? I have 3 that are grown, and I have a 9-year-old.
Well, yeah. She probably run the house though.
Yeah, she run the show. I mean, but nevertheless, I love interacting with them, each of them, on different levels, right?
For sure,
they bring out the best of me, as a father, and I have a phenomenal wife. Right? I don't just say that. My wife is obviously she's a professor. She's a school counselor as well.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But she take care of home like kind of put me in the mind of my grandmother and my mother being homebodies, right?
Yeah.
But she's again multifaceted. Yeah. She's the glue that definitely holds it together.
100%.
And so shout out to my wife, Tawana Angeletti.
Yeah. Listen, that's dope. I've had the pleasure of meeting almost all of them. I think the only one did I meet Mike?
Yeah, you met all of them.
Yeah, all right. I think I met all of them, man. Yeah. So listen, salute to that, bruh.
Yeah.
Wait, here's the thing. I know you guys are listening to him talk right now. You're hearing his accent. He's not from California, right? Where you from, man?
New Orleans.
All right, man.
Ninth Ward decided to be specific.
Okay,
right?
there we see. That's what I'm talking about. Let them know, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So listen, when I first met Ron, I believe it was at a High Star? That's the name of the program?
High Point. I was
High
working
Point.
at the Discipline Alternative Education program, the alternative school, so to speak. Yep.
High Point. That was a very unique experience. I was explaining that off camera to a guy right there. I was trying to explain to him, like, that school is like or at least at the time, right? That's like the last step before the young men or women go to prison?
So the DAP, the state set up, it's a discipline alternative education program. So a student that violate the student code of conduct and whatever, varies, whether it's fighting, possession of drugs, or whatever it may be. So those students are expelled. Now, most districts have an in-house, program to send them to, right? But if sometimes it's a mandatory placement if it depends on what the offense is or the infraction is.
Okay.
And so High Point Department, it's Harris County Department of Education alternative program. So they get the kids that are like last chance in school. So schools contract, with the program to send them. And some of them is the school's decision. Some of it is mandatory placement if it was drugs or possession of a weapon or any type of infraction like that. So that school, you get a lot of students, unfortunate or reluctant learners, right? They in school, but they just kind of going through the motions. But I had the opportunity to really meet some students, some very bright students that just was misguided, and had the opportunity to use my humble beginnings and my education as well to just kind of stimulate the interest enough to get them involved. And so I had some very, very good experience and met some very good students in that program.
That's pretty dope. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you were able to, in a sense, mentor some of these young people.
Yeah. So
I know you were the teacher, right? But also, I think sometimes it gets lost that your teacher is the person that you're with most of the time.
Yeah.
During the daytime. So I would see you as, some of my teachers I saw as mentors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If they could inspire me,
right,
you know what I mean, in such a way.
So what I did with the program, although my capacity was as an educator, but I saw an opportunity because I firmly believe, just from my own experiences, that before you can teach, you got to reach, right? So I saw a great opportunity to really stimulate the interest by letting them know that I care. What the saying is, people don't care how much you know, they know how much you care. They don't care about your degrees.
That's very good.
None of that. But they know that you care about them. A student that'll be in your classroom, or with you, that are really involved and cross the hall, up the hall. Completely other teachers different. Wondering how do you get him or her to stay in class 1 and 2. How do you get them to perform? And it comes down to really letting them know that you care. So before you get into the academics,
that's good,
those
right
core
there.
subjects, if you get them involved and know that you care, then you just might be able to impart some of those content knowledge in them.
I think what you're saying is very well orchestrated, right? And I'm gonna tie this all in because I know. I brought you here today because I want to discuss your book, man. As you see, you just recently dropped a book. It's right behind me. And something that I saw that was very unique about the book is how it touches on mental health, right? And I'm gonna tie this all in at the end because I also think that it's very important for these young people who are at this school or any school, right, to understand. I'm saying young people, but even the adults. Right, should have a barrier of entry for mental health and how it's good to even discuss it and talk about it. Right.
Absolutely.
You were just sharing something with me, and I don't want to go too far to the right before I come back, but you were just sharing something with me off camera in regards to a conversation you had with your mother. Rest in peace to her. Right, but you never know how and what somebody else's is. Perception is and how they intake certain things, which could lead to other things, right? You know what I mean? And I think your mother. I just recently had a conversation even with my own mother, just in regards to how I was raised, right? Because I'm a military brat, but I'm the oldest in the house,
right?
So for me, I just got drug everywhere. It seemed like, right? It was like I actually asked both my parents, like, Did you think about the impact that moving so much had on me? Right?
Yeah.
As a kid, like I know you had to do it for your job or for my pop's job, but it's like every 6 months type of joint. it's not something that they could even grasp at that point, and I had to make them think.
Yeah.
Right. So for them now sitting back thinking, they're like, okay, well, this is maybe that's why you are the way that you are, and you interact with the people the way you interact. Well, hell, we bounce you around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important. We do want to touch on mental health. It's needed and it's important in our community, bigger than just amongst selves. Our community needs it, which is I hope one of the reasons why you authored this book. But let's backtrack now.
Yeah.
Family, right? Let's talk a little. Well, let me go a little bit further first. So we briefly discussed your time at High Point again.
Yeah, High Point.
All right, High Point. But then during that time at High Point, I found out that you were a restaurant owner, right? At the time, it was in spring, I believe, right?
Right. Old Town Spring, correct.
Old Town, exactly right. All right, because I lived around the corner. I forgot about that. Old Town Spring. What's the name of the restaurant that you had?
New Orleans Taste and See.
New Orleans Taste and See.
Yep.
And let me tell you that it was tasty.
Yeah.
And I seen.
Yeah.
All right. My man I did an event over there too, I think. A couple of events.
A few networking events you did. Maybe about 3 or 4 of them, perhaps.
Yeah, I actually recently just saw a picture of one that I had you cater downtown. I think the picture was like from 2014, I want to tell you, or 15. Bro, that's crazy that I've known you that long.
Yeah, definitely.
Square business. I literally just sat back and thought about that when I saw the picture.
A lot of people that I met at those networking events to this day, I still, cater for, or they call and different. Because I don't do any formal marketing. I mean, the catering that I do is strictly from the restaurant clientele that I have. I get calls through school districts or different people that I met throughout the years. And again, no real formal. I have a little social media, but I don't keep updated with it. But
you just reminded me what you just said to school, bro. I had you. You cater for me a lot. Like I've used those catering services a lot. I remember we did a school, elementary school. You came in and catered a dinner for me too. Like, okay, so listen, he's being polite about this right now. I said that my man was a chef earlier, but I've eaten all type of dishes from this brother. Wait, my man has desserts. I'd have lost my mind right now thinking about this. He has you may correct me if I'm wrong, brother. I think it's a sweet potato pecan or a pecan sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a fusion between the sweet potato pie and the pecan pie, and we just put it together in the same shell. So
he's making it sound like it's really nothing, but I can promise you right now, it's something I ask for all the time. And pralines is something, or pralines, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know New Orleans is going to get me, but it's bomb. And I've seen these cats used to make it fresh. So for me, I love good food, and my man makes great food. So I'm championing for him to open this restaurant back up so I can come back in there. But I'm going to continue to use him as a vendor and use his catering services. But if you see him online, y'all still have the social media, right?
Yeah, we do. New Orleans Taste and See. Yep, New Orleans Taste and See. Not very active on it. I mean, kind of here and there use it, but you can't get in contact. But if anyone that's out there that's hearing it, 832-271-1777.
I ain't even had to tell him to advertise. My man know how to go get his own business. But you will not be disappointed. We've done galas. I've catered another person's gala. I've done a couple. Man, listen, I use them a lot. All I know is when I'm in a clutch and I call him, he comes through. And the food always be immaculate. This last gala we just did, I had compliments again on that. Like, people always ask me, I guess gala food sucks from what I'm hearing normally, man. And this one was like fire. Everybody was like, yo, the food's good. I'm like, okay, that's not what I thought I was going to hear mostly. But you know what I mean? Like, you didn't like the award show or nothing, like the food, but it's cool. It's cool. I'll take a second seat to that. But the man's a chef.
Self-proclaimed chef. I don't.
He is a chef. Listen, next time I'm gonna bring him back, and we're gonna just bring the pie. We're gonna let the people in the studio taste the pie, and we're gonna let them say it, because you ain't gotta take my word for it. But if you're looking at me, you know I like to eat. Trust me, my man's stuff is fire.
And just to put that in perspective, right, in terms of food. So my dad. If anyone that really know me or know my family, my dad is they call him the pie man or the candy man in New Orleans. He sells
dope! I didn't know that.
Pralines, pies, cakes, really street level, right? And so just having that skill, growing up in the house of cooking candies, wrapping pies, and making pies. So even though I'm fortunate enough to go to school and have a professional career, so to speak, my passion, my heart is in doing that, because not only is it give me opportunity for entrepreneurship, it's nostalgic when I'm making candy, making these pies, because I'm back at home, I'm back in the kitchen, in the projects, helping my dad wrap cakes, wrap pies, cook candy, stirring around. Me and my brother, though, we took turns. So my dad would have 4 pots of pralines going at the same time. You remember he sold a lot of it, and so we had to take. We called it rounds, right? It's my turn. I have to man, and you man in 4 pots at the same time, right? And so, because if you know anything about pralines, then what they do, it boils up, out of the pot. If you're not manning it right, right?
Okay.
So doing that, I mean, that was our humble beginnings. But I mean, when I'm doing that to this day, even though I'm doing it as a business, it's still nostalgia when I'm in it. When I get the opportunity to be in the kitchen, whether it's in the restaurant, or wherever at home, it still brings me back to that. So it's a connection, from what I did with my dad, and then on my mom's side, my grandmother is the sweet shop lady, Miss Mays. So she sold, we call them frozen cups in New Orleans, and frozen cups, penny candy, now laters, and all those different box candy, we know cherry chains and a lot.
This is like in your bloodline, so you
So
you can't even help but just be good.
So the hustle is just watching my grandmother taking a not a dime to $1, but a penny to $1, and my dad hitting the streets, really hustling. So I always had a aspiration to try to take that to the next level, to do something else. We get the family involved, and so to this day, part of the reason why I'm still involved in the catering, because it give me opportunity to employ others, and also get family to get other people together. Because I'm a firm believer in the whole idea. Like I told you, you could be using this platform for anything, but the fact that you bring on different guests, that's the illustration of climb, uplift, and build. The book is not about just climbing, over adversity yourself, but it's also about what can you do to uplift others, right? And then collectively, now we get together to build, right? To build better individuals, better families, better communities, and that's how we shift the culture forward and change the whole narrative of what we're seeing. So that's what it's all about, to be honest with you, totally.
Say, brother, you made me think right now, and I'm giving you praise again, but this is like it's honest praise though. Climb, uplift, and what's the last?
Build.
And build. Mm-hmm. So, and watching you climb, uplift, and build, I've also got to see you be a dope father, and it's not lost upon me what you just stated about the family legacy of just cooking and the dynamics that has had, the fusion with your family and doing family oriented, right? Mm-hmm. Because at the restaurant back in the day, your children used to work there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. You used to have your children coming out and being servers. There's something said about that. I know it's a family oriented business, but it's like there's a humility portion of that, and the vibe that you used to bring is very family warm. You know what I mean? Like, I used to bring people in town. People come in town, I used to make them come over there like, yo, let's go over to my boy's spot. They got the gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Or chicken and or whatever it was I was bringing them over there for.
Right.
It was because of the food was fire.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere was always cool. Like sometimes when you go to restaurants, I mean, you're going to spend your money, but it ain't like the best vibe. You like
right.
Food good, but it's like, man, that server sucked. Or you know what I'm saying? You can just tell like, maybe your food wasn't cooked with love. Like I ain't never had that experience over there. So
I
mean?
definitely appreciate that, man. I do, because that's what what we was built on was trying to give food is. I'm from New Orleans, right? To give credit to that. I mean, food is the way to the heart, right?
Yeah.
And so everything we ever did, but also even farther than just being from New Orleans, my family, it's all about. I mean, there's not like my mom never met a stranger, right? Anybody know my mom in terms of. On the streets, if she cooks something, never no such thing. I don't have enough, right? Anybody can get it, right? So I just grew up with that spirit of knowing how important it is. It's better, like the Bible, it's better to give than to receive. So taking that same concept into to the business world, having a restaurant, because you have to not only have a good product, but also because let's say if you have a product, let's say food in this case, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say it wasn't the best, right? But if the service was good and people really feel that you was genuine, they may give you another try. They may come back again, right? But if the service sucks and the food not good, and it's a recipe for disaster, right? Yeah. So I really, so when I look back at it, man, to this day, when you can go to Yelp. Even though we're not in existence in terms of the brick and mortar restaurant, we still do the catering, but a lot of the Yelp comments, although in addition to the food being good, a lot of those comments of the atmosphere, how loving it was, and how,
Yeah.
and 'cause, again, it was all about teaching my kids at the same time, while they still matriculating through life, trying to find their way, but teaching work ethic and the importance of not only, to be here to make money, but how you treat others matter, right? And so
Very,
just
very
use that for
important
that.
jewels that my man is dropping right now. And also, I have to give him another kudos. Like, damn, this guy gets all the kudos today. So listen, not only was he doing something out of love, he was showing his children what it is to be an entrepreneur, young, because they was teenagers and babies to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I saw him in there, but family-oriented business. I didn't even know the background story of your parents and your grandparents, and how that plays into effect. But it was like second nature. You know what I mean? And then the entrepreneurial spirit that your children are able to see and experience. I know you and your wife both are highly educated individuals, right? And you're in the education field, but to be able to see both sides of the scope, I think is dope for our community to be able to see, because you empowered them both on a concept of education and learning, but also we use the word hustle, but I don't want to minimize what it is to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? But you got to have a little bit of grit. They got to see kind of the yin and the yang, right?
Yeah.
And your children now are all flourishing. They're all doing different things. You know what I'm saying? You have a singer. You know what I'm saying? Your other son is a boxer. Your daughter now is a wife.
Yeah, healthcare
right?
professional. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's out here doing big things. Salute. Right. Listen, first of all, healthcare is never going nowhere. So if you need healthcare, tap in at AYG Insurance Manager Services. All right.
By the way.
Shameless plug. Yeah. But those are all fantastic things. But again, it's a testament to the parents that you all have been, and the guidance that you guys have been able to instill in your children. Leading me to my next point before we dive deep into the book is you also have you do mentoring to kids in the community, both here in Houston and also in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, going to New Orleans on Monday, we have a Christmas toy give back, right? And it's great to give away the toys.
Yeah.
So we do something at Easter, Good Friday. We give away some bicycles and things, and back to school. And now we're going to do this on Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's great for the tangibles, but most important, the opportunity to have those kids and have them there. Now, whether they're there for the toys with the giveaways, but
Right.
you have their attention for a moment, right?
Yeah.
And we know these days with social media, it's literally a moment, right? You have to.
Right.
So I
Couple of
take those
seconds.
times to, and I have a great team of people that also join.
Of course.
Shout out to you. And I don't want to just start calling names. I'm missing one, but of course, my family. Good guy. Vaughn, Desire Vaughn. So if you're watching this, I want to give you your credit. Greg Green. Also, I mean that's my, I won't say right and left hand, but my right hand guys that really step up and be in the trenches, just trying to do whatever we can. Again, it's not even about the tangibles, what we can give. It's about showing those kids that one, being from that community, even though. So like I say, I'm from the Desire Project, so it's not the
Gotcha.
Desire Projects that we grew up in, because they
Changed it now, right?
right, they tore it down
course.
and they built a new system in terms of housing, but nevertheless, some of the same elements still exist, right?
course.
Without getting really into that, but so a
we
lot of
understand.
elements. So coming from that, for those kids, whether they from a lot of their parents from the old Desire, so where those kids know exactly what it is, but for them to see people that they know from the community, and one of the guys, like I said, Desire Vaughn, actually still lives in the community.
Okay.
So they see him day to day, but not just moving around as an adult going by this business, but really getting involved, really,
Yeah.
boots on the ground, helping out. So we get a chance
That's love.
to do that, and but nothing happens in that's great without a collective effort, right? And so I firmly believe
Message.
in a collective effort, absolutely. So if you're listening, and so we call it a circle of hope, right? So we titled it, and Circle of Hope is not an organization in itself. Circle of Hope is a collective effort of organizations, anyone that want to get involved. So the whole idea of Circle of Hope is that we consciously want to encircle this community, right?
Yeah.
And so we call it Circle of Hope Desire. And it should be a Circle of Hope. Akers Home, Circle of Hope,
got you, yeah.
Third Ward,
Everywhere.
Uptown. So Circle of Hope, the idea is that we would collectively come together, use our resources, right? No,
Yeah.
no big eyes and little U's, right? Just coming together and say, what do I? You don't lose your identity, but coming again. You still, ABC Corporation, whatever you may
Right.
be. But the idea is that you come together and collectively we can
dope.
shift this community. We can do it this community, and then someone can duplicate it somewhere else and do it in another community. Because even though I live here in Houston, I mean, I was outside of Houston, but the idea is that a blueprint to say how do we really, be boots on the ground, right? And there's some logistics that go into it, obviously, but you have people with different strengths, right? You tap other people. I know I done tap you quite a few times because I mean,
Vice versa.
I mean, if I start getting into the many facets that you're into, that's a podcast in itself, right? I mean, because you're very involved in it and I always appreciate it. And I use the word hustle, right? I mean, it's not about a hustle. It's about transferable skills, knowing how to pivot when you need to pivot and go when you go. So shout out to you for that, man. I say that and I say it again. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so Circle of Hope that's what it's about, right? Because a lot of time people get caught up in this. Everybody want their name on the banner, right? On the placard.
It looks good to shine, and I think it's lost. There's a couple of key things that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
One is that for a lot of us out here, you don't get the recognition, so you feel like you got to push to get that, and we're forgetting the actual cause about what it is that we're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said something about a circle, no big eyes and little U's, but just everybody putting in whatever they can to push the mission forward, right?
Yeah.
That's lost right now in our community. When I grew up in the early 80s, man, it was one of those things where everybody in our community knew everybody. Like, we played outside. I knew Miss Johnson down the street on the corner. If I did something crazy or she thought it was crazy, they could call my mama. Or even better, she could come outside and check me herself. And I bet not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody else could, just the community involvement in general is lost somehow. And I was just talking to somebody last night about this. Like, I don't know if it was just our generation in particular. It seemed like right after us, or maybe our generation, we lost that. Right. So I love what you're doing with the community involvement. Obviously back home, but even here in Houston, and I know you align a lot, particularly with the individuals in your neighborhood, and you know what I mean, just the people that come from New Orleans, or your reach, who's ever in your reach. I think that's very, very important. Not enough of us actually do that. I think a lot of us talk about it,
Yeah.
but we ain't really out here in the trenches, and sometimes it could be a tiresome game because it's like, damn, it's us. But how many other people is really out here right, putting in that work? All right, so first of all, this is great. This is more of an interview that for me than it is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting uplifted in my spirit right now. So
Because you boots on the ground, man, and I say that, and I mean I don't say that to flatter. I say that you really boots on the ground. Since I've been knowing, like I said, not realize how many years has passed since I initially met you, but knowing you in different capacities, you have always, hands in, upward mobile. Let's look at it that way, right? I personally can appreciate it because too often, too many of us literally forget where we come from, right? It's not about
100%.
Not about having. I mean, it's great if you have some level of success, but it's nothing if we can't use that success to uplift others, right? I mean, because when it's said and done, when the lights go out,
man,
only thing gonna matter is what did you do? The Bible say not even be religious, but the Bible say only what you do for Christ is gonna last, and it's Christ-like, right? I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about Christ-like to say
examples.
How do you meet the needs of others? What are you doing to meet the needs of others, right? That's very, very, very important.
You brought a scripture to my brain, and it just made me think right now. But they say, what you do to the least of these, you do to me, right? That's so kind of sticks with me. Let's segue this into you have a book. You've authored this book right behind me. If you can see, Climb, Uplift, and Build. What was the inspiration behind said book? Because I see you on a little book tour right now, so I had to bring you on here so I can say that you was on my show too. But
I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. And I'm getting a lot of calls. It's really, I don't want to use the word overwhelming because it's a blessing, but to get calls and people want, that's great because that shows that there's a need and there's a desire for to bring it, to go on different platforms and have these discussions, right?
Yeah.
So just to answer the question, the motivation, the book was written as not just a typical, let me tell you my story. It's not a narrative guide. I mean, they have a little introduction to who I am, to give some credibility, you know, to my humble beginnings. But the book is literally a guide. I mean, things that I've, and not 100% in the book that I've mastered, right? Some of the things in the book that I wish I had known when I was 17, 18. I wish I had known when I was 12, right? I wish I had known when I was 25, whatever. So the goal is, if I've learned it in some cases, I want to share it. And if I'm working on it, I'm trying to learn it, I'm still want to share it, because the book is research-based in terms of what is needed, right? Because success leaves clues, right? It's a formula, right? So there's a formula to success. Again, I say this all the time. If you interview 100 successful, regardless of what capacity, successful,
right,
you'll find some commonalities in those individuals. And those commonalities are those 5 elements, which are the 5 elements of social, emotional, intelligence, and learning, which is
preacher right now.
Self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Self-awareness, you know, obviously, you know, it's self-experience, knowing who you are, really getting to know yourself, right? And so there's a saying, you can't control what you don't know, right? So the second element would be self-management. Once I know myself, now I can better control myself. You can't say,
right now, bro,
have self-control, and I don't even know, you know, how do I begin to control something that I don't know? Is that really possible? So self-awareness, right? Self-management, which is another word for self-control, right?
Right.
And then we have social awareness, right? And you say, how do I fit in with the larger society, right? Whether I'm talking about in my family, in my community, in my city, in my, you know, on my job, knowing my social awareness, knowing how I fit in, and then being empathetic towards others in their situations, right? And then the fourth of those would be positive relationships. So if I know myself, I can control myself, and I see how I connect with others, then I can form better relationship, positive relationship, we like to call it, because of and that's in various capacities. We talking about finding a soulmate, you know, a husband, wife, or being in friendships, or, you know, whatever it is, really forming, not just forming, but maintaining those positive relationships. So of those 4 elements I called out: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and then I make positive relationships. Now I have those 4. Now the 5th element, which tied all together, now I can make responsible decisions, right? And so if you look at the book, the illustration of the book, it's stairs, but the idea is that we can climb, and it's in that order, right? Know myself, control myself. How do I connect with others? How I make these positive relationships, and now I'm ready to make some positive or responsible decisions in life. And so that book is written in a way that gives a guide, right? People ask the question all the time, is it a children's book? And my answer is all the time, it's
I thought that's what it was at first.
A lot of people think because the illustration, I'm trying to make it real kid-friendly, but the idea is not a children's book, but it is for children. But it's best in tandem with mentors, mentees, parents, kids, coaches, players, because if you take these concepts, because you tell a kid, or you tell your son, your daughter, your student, whoever, do good with life or whatever, right? That's very general and very
vague.
It's vague. It's not enough. If I say, how are you doing with your goals? Okay, I said goals. Have you broken your goals down to smaller chunks, right? How are you managing your goals, right? What are you doing with your time, right? I mean, I could be more specific. And a lot of these is just the way I raised my own kids, and some things that I learned from my parents, some things I wish I had learned, right?
For sure.
Respect to my parents. They only knew what they knew, right?
Exactly.
And so my idea, and some things I only know what I know. And I hope my kids can, you know, I'm
better.
I'm a sentimental person, so when I start talking, you know, forgive me, and I'm holding back tears, you know, to be macho, man. But at the end of the day,
for sure, let it loose.
I promise you, man. I wrote the book. Obviously, it's a sell book. I say this all the time, but it's so much more than just selling books, man. It's about really giving a guide. If you can take this book and you can really incorporate it in your life and help others around you, now we can shift the culture. Now we can really start, because it starts. My mom always said, and it's an old saying, now my mom made it up, but love started at home, then it spreads abroad, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if you can really get into this, so the book was written in that way to give those practical guides, right? You can have more focused discussions with those that you love, those that you are responsible for, whether you in a capacity as a teacher, as a coach, as a parent, a mentor, whatever it is. If you really taking it and you delving into it, you have a guide, a formula. So we're going to use this, we're going to incorporate it. And it's okay to be transparent. I'm very transparent.
I think it needs to be. First of all, salute to you, man, for being transparent. Second, as men, I literally just shared this with one of my young female friends, and I was telling her, like, when I was raised in an era where it's like men don't cry, right? So I grew up very cold.
Yeah.
Right. I was never in touch with my emotional side. I had to be in my 30s before I really and it was because of my daughter, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She was like 10, and I think she was telling me one time that I was too strict. She was like, "You're so strict." I'm like, because I have like a guy, like I used to try to keep her, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing something and I'm giving her rules,
Right.
not even understanding that I'm not communicating in a way that's effective for her. That broke me down.
Yeah.
Right? Because here I am thinking, you know what I'm saying? I got all this together. It's me. You gonna do what I say because this is the rules. And she like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I suck. You know what I'm saying? I literally had this conversation with myself like, yo, I'm whacking this area. So I need to try to get this. So I credit to my daughter for breaking me, so to speak, right? And I still got much room for improvement. All right, so I'm not saying that I've mastered this, but much room for improvement in areas. But one of those areas where what they use now, emotional intelligence, is just like tapping into understanding, like you said, social, right? Understanding how I'm being viewed and what it is that I'm actually looking for. So it needs to be more of us men that are actually transparent about our feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First, we don't even get offered the opportunity a lot of times for us to express our feelings. Right. We have to. We're always in combat mode. You know what I'm saying? Dad, protector, provider. But it's like we got feelings too. So salute to you for being able to address that. One of the other dope things that I like about the book, I was reading through it at first. I was just like, okay, I'm reading with the perception that I'm just going to read, not that it was an actual workbook.
Yeah.
I thought that was really profound too, because a lot of times, and I like to read, especially from people that I know. Like I think that's also dope. But like again, the workbook aspect of the book breaks down and allows you to kind of even dive deeper into every topic that you just said. Those are 5 pillars that I think is really dope. And now even understanding the book more, which I went to the book signing and didn't even ask the man the depth of the book. So forgive me for that, but having that understanding now, I understand the cover, right?
Yeah.
And the graphics behind it, it makes more sense too. It's like, why didn't I think of that? You know what I'm saying? Dope concept for it. So let me ask you now, since you put the book out, it's fairly new, but how's the response been from the individuals?
It's been very, thanks again for this platform, because just like you said, you came to the book signing and you came to support, you understand what I do, but having this platform, getting an opportunity to explain it, right? Maybe I haven't really explained it enough where people see it, because you see a cover, you see a book, okay, I want to support, but having this platform, opportunity to really delve into a little bit more. So thank you again for having this opportunity to discuss it.
Man, no problem.
And so, and you asked the question, man. I'm so sorry. Say it again.
No, just saying in general, like the response from the book.
Okay,
you been put it out. It's all good, bro. What have you seen as far as like the response from the book from people that have seen it?
Man, I've been getting some very good feedback and good reviews on the book, right? And so, and for that, I appreciate those that do have the book, and some people do reach out almost with kind of like you was in a way. It's like almost like it's actually good, right? So we just,
I mean, not to say that anybody else's book is not, but it's like sometimes we support just for I do. Let me say this. I speak for myself. I like to support people that I know that have supported me. You know what I'm saying? In brotherhood or sisterhood or whatever. Like just as a friend, I would do this. For example, this doesn't really exist anymore, but I used to have people in the music industry years ago, and some of my peers would put out music. And personally, I thought that their music sucked. Yeah, right. But because you put it out and you're my peer, right? I would support you. Right, I would go buy 4 or 5 copies. I'll give them away. But it's still me supporting you, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I the notion behind that is just something that I grew up with. Like you treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
So I don't have a problem actually supporting. Now the benefit of doing that is when it's actually good. Right? Yeah. Your book is actually good, and there's a purpose, not that other people's books are not, again, but there's a purpose behind your book. And I think right now in this particular season is the prime season for it to be. So, I'm wishing you much success with the book and not even just the book. I think it's more important for you to grateful that you came today for this platform to be used as a catalyst to help push the actual agenda behind it, mental health awareness and understanding our feelings, men and women, right? Like you said, boy or girl, right? And mentor, mentee, and maybe it's even more of a situation where parents can then now bond more with their children and have a better understanding if they use the book as a guide, right?
Absolutely. So to put that in perspective, so I worked as an educator, obviously, boots on the ground in the classroom, right? And then I pivoted more to a administrative role, right? And now as a consultant. So we look at it through those lenses. As a teacher in the classroom, I get the benefit at any given day. I may 5 to 6 periods a day. You have 25 students, 25 times 5, 125, 130
Right.
students. You see it on a daily basis, right? And I only can, I'm not gonna say I only can, but I would directly impact those students if I have access to them, right?
Correct.
But I'm limited to those students unless those students go out and maybe share what they learn, but it's not likely at this age, right? But as I pivot into more of a leadership role, then I get to have a little bit more of an impact, right? Within that school or within that district.
Yeah.
Now as a consultant, I'm not limited to a specific district, to a specific city. I can go wherever and give. And so the idea is that now I may have an opportunity to impact students that I would never see by impacting those that's going to educate them. Their
sure.
teachers, their administrators, whatever. So consultant has provided that opportunity, right? And so writing the book is in the same lane, the same vein. So I have so much to say, right? So much I have given because of my experiences.
Yes, we're listening to you.
Yeah, so I get to write it, and I may never meet the individuals, right?
No,
and so
facts.
it's even more important. So I wrote it in a way to, like I said, work in tandem with mentor, mentee, parent, kid, so that it's not just a book you want to read and put on the shelf and put it away. It's
No,
a
it's
book
not.
that you go back to because it's broken into little concepts, right? That you can really delve into. Maybe you read it already last month, read that portion of it, but something was said and I just go back to it and kind of put it in perspective, right?
Yeah.
And I can have a more of a focused discussion with my son or daughter, or someone I'm mentoring, whoever it may be. So the book was written in a way as a guide, as a facilitator's guide, right?
Yeah.
Whether that be at whatever level. And so in conjunction with the books, I have 2 workbooks because of popular demand. People's asking,
Hold on, I ain't got the workbook though.
yeah, so I didn't have so the work, in fact, on Monday with this Christmas gift bag, I have the
Okay.
the elementary books
coming up.
completed, but they'll be ready to go on Amazon and Barnes and Noble within the goal is by the 1st of January.
So let's do this really quick. Since you segued ourselves, where can the people out there that's watching this, where can they go get this book?
That book is now available on Amazon. You can go to Amazon, you can Google the book, Climb, Uplift, and Build, my name, Ron Angeletti. Or you can go to ronangeletti.com. It's RONANGELETTI.com.
Spell that one more time, brother, because
Yeah.
I'll always be messing it
Yeah.
up.
So it's Ron, RON, last name Angeletti, ANGELETTI, books, BOOK with S, books.com. That's the website for the book. If you go to that website, it gives you more insight of the book. So before you buy it, so to speak, try it. Just kind of look at what's the mission, what's going on with the book, give you a little insight. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, then you go to, but get your copy now. That link will take you directly to Amazon site where you can purchase the book in whether it's a hardback like you have there,
Yeah.
paperback,
Paperback.
or I even have it in a ebook. It's as low as $9, $9.99, right?
Yeah, dope.
So I wanted to make it affordable. That people can get it, and not only for yourself. If you able to purchase the book for yourself or someone else, do it. It's an investment. I mean, again, I'm the author. I want to sell books, but it's so much not about selling books. It's an opportunity to give a gift that keep on giving, right?
Yes,
and so, Climb, Uplift, and Build was written with that in mind. Opportunity to not only help yourself, but help those that you say that you love, right? Those that you care about.
My man has come. He's dropped some jewels. Also, and I see in the back, there's some pictures of your family, right?
Yeah. So in the back of the book, so we took the book. I opened up with introduction, who I am, just a very brief introduction, my humble beginnings. Then we go into the guide of those 5 elements I talked about, right? And then in the back of the book, I have about 13, 14 individuals that my first starting with my kids and other kids that I've raised or that I have mentored in some capacity, right? So there's about 14 interviews of others to show how I'm not just giving you a guide or giving you some
social
theory, right?
Yeah,
I'm saying this is how these individuals who are very productive and successful in life, starting with my oldest son, right, who's a musician, singer, songwriter, producer, and he has an interview that talks about those 5 elements. When did he consider himself self-aware? You know what I'm saying? How has being self-aware contributed to his success?
Right.
And then go off into self-management and all those other elements. And so have that. And I have my second son, Michael, which is a professional boxer. He's currently 12-0 as well.
Salute to Mike.
And doing great. But an interview from Michael. So, and then my daughter, who's a healthcare professional, her interview, and it goes on and on. So it's a total of 14 interviews of young adults that's telling their story, how
the impact that is
that element has helped them to be successful.
We know that it's real because of, first of all, a lot of times when people are have products, there's no social proof, right? And I keep saying that because that's literally what that is. It's social proof. Right now we live in a day and age where people are like, yeah, I don't know, but who used it? Well, you have real proof of how it works. But I'll give you this kudos as we head to a close. I had the book out at the crib. I have like 4 or 5 books that's on my coffee table, so to speak, right? And one of my boys came over. This one was on top though, and so he's winging through it. He started reading it. We just like stopped talking. My man is like diving into the book because I know, just speaking to you, just about mental health and how important that is. And at that particular day, he was also dealing with some stuff. And he was like, "Yo, whose book is this?" I'm like, "It's my man's book. He wrote that." You know what I mean? But it was impactful, even to somebody just to pick up as a quick read, not knowing what they're gonna get inside. They started opening. He was like, his mind was open to it. So, man, first of all, again, thank you for coming and taking the time out to come sit with me today, man, and just like have the genuine conversation. I appreciate the brotherhood always. This was not enough time to like dive in, so I'm gonna have to bring you back.
Absolutely.
So we can continue this conversation. I think it's very important for the men that's out there and the black man to not only understand what it is, but use this book, man. Go out and get this book. Wives, girlfriends, sisters, cousins, whatever it is, man. Go get this book. Husbands, brothers, sons, grandsons, whatever it is, man. Nephews, go get this book. It's very important. It can not only assist, but help with your mental health. And not just you, but the people that are around you. All right. So we're going to take this day to highlight and salute those that may be dealing with mental health and the challenges that mental health bring. You know what I mean? This is just one tool that's out there to help you in dealing with that. I hope that you take advantage of it. Make sure you go to RonAngelettibooks.com. Support my brother and friend. And like always, tune in next time. What you want to say, brother?
Yeah, I want to say this. I'm going to go as far as saying, okay, we have the book, and I have 2 workbooks, the elementary level and the middle school level.
I need both.
Right? That's coming out. And those, because facilitator guy, those workbooks going to be very hands-on, a lot of activities for students, again, from elementary level to middle school
Even
level.
more that's in the book already.
Even more. Everything that's in the book is going to have the same content, but it's going to be broken down to age level.
Okay.
Because that's about popular demand. I'm talking to a lot of people that get it. They're asking that question when they read it. It's not something that you can just give to a first grader and say, read it. But you can talk to them about what's in the book. So the workbook is going to be something you can tangibly give to them and say, you can work these programs. You can do these coloring sheets. You can talk about these different elements in a very age-appropriate way, right?
Okay.
And so as I close, I'm going to hope I'm looking into your hearts right now and say that it's so much more than a book. I'm going to go as far, and obviously as an entrepreneur that wrote a book, we write books to give a message, but also to sell books. I'm going to say, if you get this book, if you make the investment to get this book, and you get it and it's not what I said it is, and you don't feel that it's beneficial, it's helping, my word is that I'll buy the book back from you, 100% of whatever you paid for it. That's how much I stand behind the product of knowing that God has blessed me to write the book, has blessed me to give something that's worth giving, that I think is going to be life-changing. And whether it happens in my lifetime, the book is going to be a bestseller. Whether it be one of those projects that happens when it catch on some later on. It's doing well now, but not well enough for what the need is, right? There's a
Yeah, it
significant
should be
need,
like
right?
millions.
You shouldn't be able to keep a book like this, and not just because I wrote it, because I know it was inspired that God gave me this concept, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, mental health, and as we go into the holiday season,
Yeah, man.
be patient with others, because you don't know, as you Christmas shopping and opening gifts and showing things you received, or you out shopping and how you get money, spending money, making money. This is a time where a lot of people really feeling the void of those that they lost, or the void of not being able to provide for their kids the way your post show that you just bought your kids a new bicycle or a new car or whatever it may be. Be sensitive and be more patient than you would normally be in this season, because a lot of people are dealing with a lot. So be encouraged if it's you, and if it's not you, look for opportunities to be an extension of God's love. Because when it's all said and done, only what you do for Christ is going to last. So be encouraged, and thanks again for this opportunity.
Listen, I don't have nothing else to say. Tune in next time to the Morris Podcast. Peace.